I'm not even gonna bother. You just got to memorize that's SOS, guys. In the top right, we do have SOS playing on a barcode. In the bottom left, we do have herO playing on a ZAM. I imagine people play on a barcode because it's like the last account they played on, so they're already logged in. Or they haven't played on their main account in a while, or their named account in a while, and their settings might be off. I don't know, but it's such a small thing that can lead to such frustration. Because I think as commentators, we're obviously not going to easily forget, you know, this is SOS. But the amount of people who then come in to your stream and who are like, who's the barcode, who's the barcode, who's the barcode, you know, it's immeasurable. It's also understandable, you know, but it's a lot. And then they get mad at you for not bothering to put on the nameplate, and it's just like, if SOS had just picked this freaking name, come on, it's not really my fault. Anyway, the replay pack was released today. It's available for the Marine tier, $10 a month, I believe. You can buy it for a month and immediately cancel it, and you still get the replay pack. Anyway, yeah, Cap in here. So SOS versus herO. SOS, he actually has shown some really decent PvP. I don't hesitate to call it super strong because I haven't seen it enough to say that. But I do feel like if we're watching his PvP, I think it's quite good. I think it's good. It also sometimes is a little more old school, which is kind of fun. And, you know, there's the occasional wackiness that you would come to expect from SOS. But herO is top 2 best PvP in the world. I have to check the stats on that. I have to check the numbers. But that's what I'm going to go ahead and throw out there, because he commonly takes down max packs. As far as his battles versus classic, I'm not sure, honestly. But yeah, I guess PvP, it's a whole triangle, isn't it? You know, this person beats this person, that beats this person, and that person can beat the first person. I don't know. But herO is one of the world's best. And so while SOS's PvP can generally look pretty good, I will give this to herO. We have that proxy pylon, which SOS has scouted that it was going to be something in proxy. Doesn't know that it is a robo. SOS actually got a zealot as well, which is an interesting choice. We had something that we haven't seen from him before. I think he did this last time it was proxy and I cast him. Hallucination consistently being thrown out thanks to the zealot sentry opener off of just this single gateway. So obviously you're going to have to try and defend the Nexus. herO opted for a couple of adepts to start things off. Saw that it wasn't, a 2 gates. And is hoping to cause some chaos somewhere. SOS is going to get the shield battery 9 times out of 10. But there is that one time. And then honestly, 4 adepts and 2 sentries if they're away from the Guardian shield. Sentry has to be a little careful. War Prism is on the way, and the adepts will then be able to fly wherever the hell they want. Into the main base, then into the natural, then in the main base, then into the natural. And we just don't have a lot of DPS coming out from SOS at this point because he just doesn't have a lot of units. Stargate is just finished. He's building a shield battery in the main. He is prepared to defend against what he is not sure is a proxy robo, but very possibly could have been. And it is going to be that fast Warp Prism style as well. Probe's already going down, but you can't afford quite a few losses when you have a natural Nexus and your opponent does not. One adept already fell. Second adept barely going to live. All you need is 2 to one-shot these probes, though, even through the shield battery. Good focus fire there from SOS, but the Warp Prism's looking to cause some trouble. Can't really kill that particularly fast. Guardian Shield to help out is always a nice touch, but the 3rd adept even in here. Third and 4th adept. So we got 2 opportunities to one-shot the probes, and that's 10 probes killed. That puts SOS down about 9 probes. He could still technically make up for that. But that, yeah, well, can he though? Just because the Nexus isn't done for herO, but herO's even been oversaturating. So he's going to be able to transfer a good amount of probes. One thing I will say is that the Warp Prism dies. Okay, first of all, the Warp Prism's dead and the Adepts are going to die shortly after. Is that herO will not have a lot of army supply. And it's not like his armor supply will be particularly good either. It'll all be basic gateway units. But he did kill 16 probes. And what more can SOS really muster. Even if his, he knows the counterattack is the only thing he can really do. Observer was built alongside a second Observer, actually, and then an Immortal. So that Robo has had plenty of time. One Immortal plus whatever you can get out of 2 gateways, probably going to be enough for the shield battery, which is being built. The Observer tracks the army. I mean, SOS, he's not strictly all-inning, but he doesn't really have the production to do a legitimate all-in anyway, I would say. I mean, 2 gateways to Stargate. The point is, he does have to try and do something. He does have to try and at least counterattack and force herO to build whatever he needs, but it's just so easy for herO to build whatever he needs. This is not a very large army. It's got some potential in the force fields, which I think we're going to see here. There you go. 1 Stalker push to the front. Shield battery is going to save that life, and the Immortal is going to find a Stalker on the right side. A Void Ray is all really that SOS has got here. And we are still a little shy in the Stalkers, becoming more and more shy, actually, as 1 Stalker does finally go down, but 2 more get warped in. Now we're going to focus fire the Void Ray, and that is it. If he's not going to break him right then and there, he's still going to be behind by 13 workers, and he's going to get counterattacked immediately after that. So the Adepts did the job. GG's. So herO's now up 1, going on a Tokamak. Top right, it is SOS. Bottom left, it is herO. Do I feel like Starry tastes different than the old Sierra Mist? You know how often I've had conversations with people where we're like, what was Starry? What was it? Where did that come from? What did it used to be? What was the thing that it used to be called? And I have no idea, to be honest. It's like a Pepsi product, and never really into Pepsi products, actually. They lost the trademark. That's why they had to do it. Interesting. But still, I mean, it just, it's an inferior Sprite. Actually, I don't think I have a strong opinion on that one. I do have a strong opinion on bees, though, which is that they're adorable. Honeybees are adorable. And since moving to Colorado, you're just not surrounded by nearly as much green. Even though, they plant some trees, and especially in a new development where trees haven't had, 20 years to actually grow. And we have ourselves a little garden, but nothing compares to... We basically have like a mini forest. Enough of a woodland area that you didn't really walk through it to get to the highway that was behind our house. And it was full of ticks. But anyway. Yeah, now we don't have that. And so I haven't heard a honeybee in so long, actually. I used to be able to walk through the neighborhood, and there'd be, like, just patches and patches and patches where, like, honeybees would congregate. And I thought it was so beautiful. And now what do we get? What do we get in Colorado? We got hornets. We got hornets building a nest on our lamp of our porch lamp, like right outside the door. It's great. We do have a PvP, and PvP does get heated pretty quickly, so let's talk about it. SOS once again going for the 1 gateway expand with a Zealot popping out. herO going for 2 gateways and a proxy pylon. Something that SOS knows is, again, in proxy, but he doesn't know if it's going to be used or not. Won't be able to find it. 2 Stalkers this time around, though, so we are going to get differences. And with the pylon where it is and also the probe gone, we know that it wasn't anything proxied. Most likely it isn't either, as SOS sees the probe here. I mean, there could be a second probe. But his probe has been in the main for a while, so they would have to send that up very early. And actually, the players have talked about counting probes that early. So that this is not an impossible task for SOS to kind of figure out. But, I mean, you'd have to, like, take into account, like, where the proxy was, because if it's far enough away or close enough away to also build a building, and then how long is the map distance? I mean, it'd be tough for SOS to determine that it is not an attack. Hallucination, fortunately, does that for him. And he still will opt for the same opener, which I think herO was perhaps anticipating to an extent. Another Sentry opener. The Zealot was canceled. But 2 Sentries, still not that much DPS. Thankfully, the shield battery does finish. And the 2 Stalkers were maybe hoping to kill the Sentry. That might have been possible. Honestly, if they had killed the shield battery, this still would have been very problematic. And that shield battery is still technically targetable. But as soon as you target it, the force fields will go down. In fact, there's the force fields right now. Able to collect 1 Stalker, just barely. You're going to use all of your force field energy for it, to be fair, but the recharge is available on, well, eventually a Nexus anyway. 3 Sentries now and a Stalker. That's going to be good enough. That will be good enough. Probes are actually being pulled into this. I mean, he knows that it is a Nexus on location for herO, but it is still dicey. He just lost all of his sentries. Stalker is the only thing that remains. Only one gateway, so only one warp in. This Stalker is also in trouble. The shield battery is out of juice. No recharge available. 2 sentries and a Guardian shield. I mean, but the probes are fairly effective against this. This is where, once again, the workers get to shine in these super, super low unit battles. Hello? Sentry? Hello? Help? Hello? Hello? There we go. 2 probes go down. And that could have been way worse. At the end of the day, you traded out almost your equivalent army, right? Yeah, actually maybe a little worse. A little worse for herO. And you only killed 2 probes, but the opponent's X was faster. The point is, sOs, like, he makes sure not to let this snowball, and that is the most important thing. That is 100% the most important thing. This actually could have snowballed. It might have looked comical. That might have looked like, well, this is just 3 units and then 3 units and then 3 units. Like, what are they going to really do? But that absolutely could have snowballed. And if the proxy pylon was actually more of a proxy pylon, I keep saying proxy, it's just a hidden one. If it was actually proxy, that is also going to alarm the defender a lot. And honestly, if it wasn't proxy, let's say the pylon was here and it wasn't found. I do wonder if herO would have won. It is a very, very tight battle and one that can snowball out of control. But instead, it's kind of a wash. herO manages to get a probe ahead by the looks of things, but sOs is also prioritizing that 3rd Nexus. He is already saturated on the mineral count, so that makes sense, whereas herO, a little oversaturated at this point, gets his own 3rd, about 20-30 seconds behind. Warp Prism was built for herO. Clearly, Alhug has a Warp Prism, something that I'm not sure sOs has actually been able to scout. Yeah, so he's been using his Sentry energy to defend, clearly. So he didn't know there was a robo. This Warp Prism comes in as a bit of a surprise, and with that surprise does 5 probes worth of damage. It's not too bad. I like how this Adept was left behind for no reason. This Warp Prism driver's name is Mengsk. Just like, and you get to die. Yeah, I guess here just literally didn't see it, or maybe thought it wouldn't be seen itself? I'm not sure on that one. Anyway, they both have robos, which means sOs also has an observer. Takes care of his opponents where herO can react, and finally gets that full scout that he's been missing from all the defense going down. So obviously the robo, but then do you see the Twilight Council? Do you see the Forge in particular? How many gateways do they already have? How many things don't they have? And then are they hiding a dark shrine somewhere, All things you want to be trying to figure out with this hallucination. But it is going to be resonating glaives, actually, for both players. So that's okay, interesting. This is the first Adepts versus Adepts game I've seen in a while. I want to say, yeah. We've definitely seen a lot more resonating glaive builds and follow-ups in the last year or something like that, but it just doesn't usually happen that both of them do the exact same thing. And then there was a period of time back in, I want to say, 2017, in which Adept versus Adept was actually the meta. But, yeah. Two probes go down to sOs's own Adept harassment. Nothing really to write home about. They're talking about a 4-worker lead, though, for herO, so I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I guess Adepts who are in sOs's base. Okay. And herO actually really snowballing ahead on the upgrades, too. Such a faster forward, already giving him +1 attack. As now he's going to have a +1 armor, too. I mean, if he hits this with +1 armor, he will have a 2-upgrade lead, Adept versus Adept. I have forgotten at this point in time if +2 actually affects Adepts' kill shots on each other, because that used to be the most important thing to know. Hold on. We got an attack here. The upgrade is done for herO. Not the armor, though, but it's still an upgrade lead, and that was not what sOs was hoping for. Not at all. Even these Adepts trying to transfer on over to the natural don't get anywhere close to the probes, so they are not very useful. And sOs is in a load of trouble. Defending his 3rd Nexus is going to be extremely difficult when he has the exact same army, but at a 2-upgrade deficit. I guess the only good news here for sOs is that he does have 2 extra gateways. And if you can afford it, then more power to you. 3 Immortals versus 2, 2 Sentries to 2, just some more Adepts being warped in for both sides. It's those upgrades that I'm really thinking about. Oh, that +1 attack's almost close. Oh, it's so close to finishing. At least 1 upgrade deficit instead of 2 upgrade deficit, right? And he will be able to get it. but he's still going to be behind on the armor. Nexus is now in trouble as mass force fields go down. Nothing to break them. It looks like sOs is going to try and kind of push his way through. The force field energy is limited after all, and he will be actually adding his own force field to the mix. But not quite enough to stop the Nexus from being shot at. I guess maybe it was barely enough. The Nexus still in a little bit of trouble, but sOs in general in a bit of trouble. Is actually getting a lot of Adept damage on the other side of the map. He's got 3 Adepts getting 7 probes, and he does hold defensively back at home, just extending the period of time which that battle really took to actually happen. I mean, it arguably kind of didn't. It just was a lot of force fielding away from each other, and then Adepts shading around each other as well. Adepts going to the main base. Immortals catch a pylon powering 2 gateways, and nothing to kill Warp Prisms, by the way, so this will always be an annoyance. Adepts hoping to catch up on the probe kills that sOs was able to do to herO, but not yet so able to. Immortals even having trouble, finally getting a couple of their own shots, but it is going to still be a 4-worker lead for herO at the end of the day. Despite losing more probes than his opponent, I suppose he was rebuilding them, or I guess just had always been a little higher on the probe count, so this actually was more equalizing things. 2 Immortals still going after pylons, and while they aren't depowering anything at a particularly crucial moment, these are pylons that are having to be replaced, and at the end of the day, that's 300, 400, 500 minerals. Still something that sOs was able to find in his pocket. He does build a Nexus, whereas herO has yet to add on a 4th base himself. Now, herO did add on a couple other things, though. +2 attack, as well as blink halfway done. He is going to once again have that 2 upgrade lead. He's also going to have blink to finally take care of this Warp Prism, which, by the way, yeah, a second Warp Prism was made. I was like, that Warp Prism's awfully healthy. What happened? And he made a second Warp Prism. Army supplies slightly favoring sOs. Army types is very interesting. Adepts don't kill Stalkers very fast, but the same is true the opposite way. But, you know, Blink Stalkers cannot, you know, they're more microable. Oh, speaking of microable, oh, the Warp Prism goes down. sOs had no idea his opponent was attacking him. Ditto on the side of herO, who does decide to recall. Not going to play around with potential base trade. This is a Sentry off the bat. Second Sentry providing the Guardian Shield to help out. Shield Battery also getting recharged, and Immortal will just never die. The Adepts are taking so long to kill it. And again, same in the inverse, but it's just, it's the battle that never ends. And it does eventually end in herO's favor. Those upgrades really adding a lot. Defender's advantage really kicking in as well. And the Warp Prism find was fantastic. Reinforcements getting caught by the looks of things as once again, sOs eyes just straight up probe damage. He's trying his best. He has taken a 8-worker lead. And the Warp Prism will find its way into a corner again. So that'll continue to be an annoyance. Oh my god, while this was happening, sOs only took a 4th base. He also took a 5th base. Is that a preemptive base trade? Then it might be a preemptive base trade Nexus. Because that's insane to do it. Like, there's no... If it was like, this is a totally normal game and I'm just going to take my 4th base nice and easy, you'd have saturated it before taking a 5th. What is it, this 5th Nexus? Oh my good lord. herO decides that Stalker numbers aren't going to grow fast enough for his liking. He's already at 21, actually, so it's more just providing that extra layer on the front lines with his own mass warping of Adept. Still has 1 upgrade lead, and now going to find that 4th Nexus. Find some probes transferring too. So that might have been a tip, but then it's not really a priority to kill that Nexus. It's a priority to kill sOs, who is down 60 overall supply, basically all in army. In fact, all in army, literally. And that is going to be a victory for herO after a very interesting game. I haven't seen one like it. Even back when Adept versus Adept was the most common thing, I'm serious when I say mass Adept versus mass Adept. In 2017, you just didn't ever make not Adepts, and it was crazy and it was stupid. And a meta that evolved from, first of all, Adepts having different attack speed? Is that what it was? I fucking forget. It's been so long. Adepts have had changes. But then also Adepts were like the most chaotic thing in PvP when Lace of the Void was released, because suddenly you had this thing that could bypass any like units or force field. And people were like, I don't know how to deal with this. This is crazy. And then people figured out how to wall, and that was great. But then Adept versus Adept took over. And like I was saying, I don't know if +2 attack actually does change the kill shot count. Someone could do the math if they're very interested in it. But that was the best upgrade to get. That's what everyone shot for in PvP, was because they would do... they would take 1 less shot to kill an adept of their opponent. It might still be the case, and that might have technically affected that last battle, but not to a particularly important point. It was very clearly herO's game to win. And I think sOs was just prepping for the base trade. All the shield batteries, the Nexus. Yeah, GG's. 2-0 for herO.